Hi, my name is Amy and I am an IntegraCare educator, and today we're going to be reading a book called Eric Says Thanks, written by Dai Hankey and published by the Good Book Company. Eric woke one awesome morning and sat at the table stretching, yawning. As he tucked into his toasty bread, "This brekkie is epic," Eric said. "My taste buds are buzzin' and my belly is blessed. I'm loving this loaf. Toast is the best. But who do I thank for this scrumptious treat? My mum, of course." Eric sprang to his feet. And there's his mum in the kitchen. He ran to the kitchen and called to his mum, "Thanks a gazillion, my brekkie was yum." His grateful smile was 10 miles wide. "Oh, Eric, that's sweet," his mum replied. "But all I did was toast the bread. You should be thanking the baker instead." So out of the door with a hip and a hop, Eric popped out to the baker's shop. And there he is, out the door going to the baker's shop. "Hey, Mr. Baker, I just came to say, thanks for the loaf you made yesterday. You make the bestest bread on the planet. I tried to thank Mum, but she just wouldn't have it. She told me that you're the one to be praised. So 3 cheers for you. Hip, hip, hooray!" And there's the baker there with his loaf of bread. "That's kind," the baker began, "but the fella who fetches the flour's your man. Without the flour, there'd be no bread. You really should be thanking him instead. His name is Dan. He drives a big van. I'm on it," said Eric, and off he ran. A short while later, Eric found Dan. He was taking a nap in the back of his van. He banged the window and shouted, "Dan, you're the world's most epic delivery man. Look at Dan sleeping in the van. I'm loving the loaves the baker deals, but he couldn't do it without your wheels." "You're welcome, dude," said Dan with a grin, "but it's really the miller you should be thanking. She grinds the grain that makes the flour to bake the bread that you devour." Quick as a flash, Eric dashed up the hill to thank the lady who worked at the mill. And there's the mill up there. He knew he'd find her by the grinder, and when he did, he sat beside her. "Thank you, Mrs. Miller," he chimed. "This flour is epic, one of a kind." "Oh, dearie, it's my pleasure, of course, but it's not me who deserves your applause. Without the wheat, there'd be no grinding. You should thank Farmer Pete, if you can find him." I wonder where Farmer Pete might be. So Eric legged it down to the farm. He looked in the fields and checked in the barn. Finally, he found him working hard, fixing his tractor across the yard. There's his big tractor. "Sorry to bother you, Farmer Pete, but I wanted to thank you for growing this wheat. Without the wheat, the miller could never grind the greatest flour ever. Then Dan, the fantastic delivery man, would have nothing to drop off in his vans. Mr. Baker could bake no bread, so Mum would buy something else instead. And the ultimate tragedy would be there'd be no tasty toast for me. So everyone has to do something so he can have some tasty toast." Farmer Pete put down his spanner and replied to Eric in the gentlest manner. "I'm grateful for your gratitude, plucky young fella, but I think there's something I need to tell ya. Each day the sun rises way up high, giving light and heat from up in the sky." And I wonder who Farmer Pete is going to thank. Let's find out. "And see those clouds that are plump with rain? Soon they'll burst and water the grain. So as hard as I work to harvest this crop, your journey of thanks has one last stop. Where's he going to go to? Eric looked up and then down at the grain. But who do I thank for sunshine and rain? Old Farmer smiled and whispered, let's look at what God says in his good book. And there's the Bible. Let's see what it says. And pulling a Bible from his dungarees, he thumped a few pages, then started to read. Love the Lord, serve him heart and soul, for he sends the rain that makes grain grow. The little lad beamed as the farmer read it. I get it, cried Eric. Let's give God the credit. So Eric paused and he closed his eyes. God, thanks for my epic adventure today and all of the people I met on the way. They all played their part in giving me toast. I've thanked them all, but I thank you the most. Amen. And that's the end of the story. Thanks so much for listening.